Hindi na makatotohanan ang kasabihan na ang yaman ay nasa kamay lang ng iilan. Parami na ng parami ang mga nagtatagumpay sa buhay na galing dati sa kahirapan. The Great Equalizer has arrived, and everyone, rich or poor, can have access to it and enjoy life-changing benefits if you know how to use it right. I am China Barachina. Follow me, and together, let's follow the new money.
Time to think rich. Be inspired by personal stories of success. Learn to invest without fear and greed. Ride the latest business trends. Dream big. Dare to be the Philippines' next billionaire. I'm Sheena Barachina. Follow me. Let's follow the money. Only here on Billionaire Digital.
The truth is, nabubuhay talaga sa ibang realidad ang mga taong pinanganak na mayaman. Iba ang naging daan nila tungo sa tagumpay at mas malalaking pinto ang nagbukas para sa mga taong may tinatawag na VIP pass. Pero noon yon. Ngayon sa pag-usbong ng digital age, nagkakaroon ng tila isang zipper lane ang mga simpleng taong nais ding lakbayin ang road to financial freedom. Kilalanin ang isa sa mga nagbigay sa atin ng special access sa mga nagtatagong yaman ng mundo online. This is Big Time, big as in business inspiring guest.
Witness the inspiring story of someone who navigated uncharted territories, turning uncertainties into opportunities, a visionary in the crypto world. Let's unravel the secrets behind unlocking financial freedom through strategic crypto investments. Learn practical insights on navigating risks, make informed decisions, and ride the crypto roller coaster safely. Explore how crypto investments open doors to new possibilities and reshape his life's journey. This is Big Time.
Hi, Nichelle. Welcome to Follow the Money.
Hi, thank you for having me here. It's my pleasure.
We are all excited kasi di ba nga pag sinabing usapang new money, ang pumapasok agad sa isip namin is cryptocurrency, and we are so excited to know more about this. This is a special edition for Follow the Money wherein we will talk about crypto all throughout Big Time segment and mamaya sa Fearless Forecast. So ngayon, bago natin pag-usapan yan, how do you approach the concept of wealth building, particularly in the world of volatile cryptocurrency market?
That's super interesting, no? Because I think a lot of us first heard of cryptocurrencies because meron tayong kaibigan who made a lot of money buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other token. But cryptocurrencies today remain very, very volatile. Kung sa stock market, you hardly see movements of 2 or 3% a day. Sa crypto, that's the norm. And there are some days na it just goes up 10-15% so quickly. And I think the best way to approach crypto investing is to start by investing small amounts. That way you get the hang of the volatility, and if you want to put in more money later, you can always do that.
So you mean you started small here in cryptocurrency investing? Ako talaga nakita ko yan how volatile that is. So nakakatakot minsan.
Yeah, so I personally started very small. And that was because every day Bitcoin was going up 6, 7, 8%. Obviously, there were days also na bumagsak siya ng 20%. No? To some of you who were in crypto back in 2017, you might remember na China decided to ban crypto trading. And so yung market, I think,
I remember that.
in one day. So it was very scary because of how volatile it was. Pero the only way you can really take part is to start small.
Yeah. So, can you share some of your personal practices when it comes to managing your own finances? How do you balance the risk and reward in your personal investment portfolio?
Right. So when I started investing, I was still working for a bank at the time. That was in 2014, and because I had monthly expenses supporting the family, etc. I really had to make an active decision on how much I will save every month. So parang it's not like okay, gagastos ko this month and then bahala na ako anong matira. I really had to decide na okay, every month I'm gonna set aside X percent of my salary. And once you decide to do that, the next step is to determine saan mo siya gusto ipasok, sa bonds, sa UITF that's invested in stocks. Or if at the time ako I was a lot more adventurous, I opened the stock trading account.
You open a stock trading first, and then so I was about to ask you nga, besides cryptocurrency, have you done traditional financial markets like stocks and bonds? And how was your background influence your approach to running a crypto trading platform?
Yeah, so funny enough, uh, ever since I started working, I was already in traditional finance. I was working for HSBC in the trust department. So I was really exposed na to the equities market and the bond market. Um, uh, so yeah, I started in stocks. I think everyone at the time uh, probably started trading stocks through Call Financial. So I had an account there.
Kaya alam mo yung you started pala in a very traditional way wherein halos walang galaw, biro mo trust department, and then going to the cryptocurrency. So parang sobrang laki ng shift, but it's really good to know that you've started with the traditional ones. Kasi a lot of people I'm seeing having this cryptocurrency background, hindi nila yun na-experience. They didn't experience having that. So, in terms of, like, can you share a bit about your background and how it influenced you in terms of the perspective on wealth generation? Specifically, especially, do you come from a background of a new wealth or generational wealth?
I would say, well, I was relatively fortunate naman growing up. No, my family had a business, but unfortunately, because of yung crisis in 1997, the family lost practically everything. So I had to. Early on, I knew I had to work really hard in school just to get scholarships so that I could graduate. And then after nun, I ended up working at a bank because I thought na that was the best fit for me because I was a numbers guy. So as you might imagine, because of my circumstances, I was always very conservative. Um, and being in a multinational bank that was also known for being very conservative, it really shaped my outlook, which is why people are sometimes surprised on from such a conservative background. All of a sudden, I got into cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
Pero actually, kasi once you understand the role that cryptocurrencies can play in traditional finance, the safest option is to take part right away. Even if it's just a small amount. Otherwise, it's a bigger risk if things take off and you're not on it.
Yeah, alam mo ba, the first time I've experienced or I've heard Bitcoin was in 2014. And I was so skeptical. I was already a licensed broker then, but I was so skeptical kasi the one who's presenting us about Bitcoin are like aesthetic doctors from Korea. So I'm like, how will someone who's in the medical field and will present something like this? And I was thinking, back then, if only I had, di ba? Parang looking back. And a lot of people are like, especially in the financial industry, are still skeptical up to this point. But what made you decide that yes, this is something that that can continue? And what was your deciding factor? What did you see to say yes, this is something that I need to to take a risk on?
Mhm. It's a good point, no? Parang when you said na in the earlier days, the advocates for crypto probably were not the type of people na you would trust with your money. And so
Yes.
parang nakakatakot to even considering investing in cryptocurrencies. Pero I guess now you can see na there are a lot more very intelligent and very successful investors who are talking about cryptocurrencies. I think for me, yung big switch in mindset happened when I started thinking about will cryptocurrencies go away? Um, a lot of people compared cryptocurrencies to the tulip mania. I don't know if people remember that, but hundreds of years ago, people were buying tulips, flowers, for like
Oh yeah, I remember that story.
the tulip
It's
mania.
very valuable to them. Yes.
Correct, but that all collapsed, diba? Because you couldn't do anything with tulips. So I was thinking, how will crypto trading collapse? And I realized na there was no way for that to happen anymore, because crypto is decentralized, it's traded everywhere, and it's very difficult for governments to impose restrictions that will curtail its growth, right? So if it's gonna keep growing, chances are it will be regulated at some point, and if it becomes regulated, then it will become mainstream. So that was my thinking then, and I think it's kind of what we're seeing happen also today.
Parang there's no going back. It's
Oh,
already been.
yeah, parang there's no putting the genie back in the bottle, so to speak. Parang even if Filipinos today decide na, okay, we don't want to hold Bitcoin anymore and we're going to sell all our Bitcoin, well, guess what? There are people in Africa, in South America, in Europe, who will happily keep buying Bitcoin. So that's why it's very not, it's not likely to go away, in
So
my opinion.
yeah, Nichelle, you are a CFA, right? Yeah, you are a chartered financial.
That's
Yeah. So,
So I
yes.
became a charter holder, a CFA charter holder in 2013.
Wow,
And back
so early.
back then, cryptocurrencies weren't even part of the topic of the CFA program. But now, it's something
It's
that
part of the curriculum.
correct
Yeah,
CFA
in
charter
that.
holders to know a little bit about cryptocurrencies.
And for our viewers, actually, CFAs are the ones studying the fundamentals of companies and, having that kind, sinasabi nila cryptocurrency doesn't have a fundamental. And,
Right.
having a CFA guy in the cryptocurrency business only shows that there is such fundamentals when it comes to cryptocurrency. And in terms of like fundamentals, it's part of risk management. So, Nichelle, in cryptocurrency market, risk management is very crucial too, just like any other investment assets, right? So what are some of the key strategies that you advocate for mitigating risk in crypto trading for both yourself and your platform users?
Yeah. Look, I think in the early days of crypto, people were the reason people were skeptical was, as you had said, there doesn't appear to be any fundamentals behind it. Because if you compare it to stocks are backed by corporations who are mandated to create value. They're supposed to give you net income. They're supposed to give you dividends. But with crypto, there's nothing behind it. In many ways, it's like gold. There's no company behind gold. It's like oil. There are oil producers, but oil itself is a commodity. And so, while there is no underlying company behind a lot of the cryptocurrencies traded today, it doesn't mean that these instruments do not have any reason for going up and down in value. Okay, so one of the things that I really like doing is looking at my own, for example, Bitcoin holdings, and thinking whether the macro forces, right, interest rate environment, the global inflationary environment, are going to contribute to Bitcoin going up in price or maybe dropping in price. And the best way to manage risk in when you're investing in crypto, aside from making sure na you put in amounts that you're comfortable with,
Yeah.
you have to pay attention to everything that's happening in the market on a regular basis. As in, pay attention to news surrounding crypto regularly, every day maybe.
Yeah, kasi nga, di ba, it's something na very volatile and you have to make sure that you are agile, quick to move in terms of like the news going around. When I started this show, I talaga volunteered to trade more coins kasi before I'm heavy on stocks, but I tried it. I tried coins that are, they just launched. We call it ICO. And tinignan ko kung ano yung movement ng coins. And it's not just like magpuproduce sila ng coins for a new coin. Some coins are really also for like a platform itself or a game na talagang may laman. So same as stocks din naman yan, di ba? Parang there are stocks na minsan wala rin naman talagang activity and you also have to make sure that you study them, right?
That's right. Actually, as a CFA charter holder, I will say this, no? I think a lot of times when we analyze stocks, we put too much attention on the company. Na parang let's analyze the fundamentals. Let's look at the cash flows of the company to see if the stock price is going to go up or down. But sometimes we forget na the company is only one part of the equation. There's also the market environment. Even if the company is not doing well, pero interest rates go down, the stock will outperform. Or it also depends on the demand from the buyers, right? If in the Philippines, right now we have a little over about 200 stocks listed.
Yeah, 200 plus. Almost 260 plus, I think.
If, for example,
din siya,
if we suddenly have, 1,000 stocks, then a lot of these companies will have to, I guess, share the PSE market cap, right? So there are a lot of factors outside of the company that influence the price of stock. And I think...
Sorry, go on, continue.
Oh no, I was just saying that in crypto, there's no company to analyze, right? Which is why a lot of the analysis goes into those other factors. What is the market environment for the dollar? What's the view on inflation and interest rates?
Gold also relative.
All of those siguro take more of the spotlight, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ito, napaka-interesado siguro sa mga very interesting to them na malaman in terms of navigation of regulatory landscape. So how does your platform ensures compliance with the regulations, fostering the innovation? Kasi di ba, sometimes innovation and regulation medyo nag-aaway ng konti eh. So how do you ensure that there is a balance between the two?
Mm-hmm. The way I see innovation and regulation, para siyang gas and brakes in a car. Parang if puro gas lang, you're gonna crash. If puro brakes lang, it's not gonna run. But if you know how to mix the gas and the brakes, that's when you get the car running at its fastest. So from the very beginning, PDAX has been fully compliant with the BSP. So in fact, we're one of the first companies to be licensed by the BSP. What does that mean? Well, that means na um, the BSP regularly reviews our platform and our operations. They point out risks that we have to address. Um, uh, and I guess the benefit there for users is that you have the confidence na when you transact with our platform that it's really been vetted by so many other people who are uh, designed to protect consumers. On the flip side, I guess the downside I should say is that because licensed CPDAX, there are many things also that we cannot just offer the local
Yeah.
market. So yun yung pinaka trade-off.
All right. I think hopefully with over time they will see and they will be more adaptive to it. So sana naman. And also in terms of like eto na nalaman na natin that there are also fundamentals when it comes to cryptocurrency. I just want to know what initiatives do you have in your platform that you have undertaken to educate naman the users, because this is also term of financial literacy, and you being a chartered person and financial analyst, how do you educate them when it comes to this digital asset?
We take part in a lot of mga financial literacy initiatives, particularly on crypto education. So uh, you might see PDAX give talks, take part in platforms like yours, no, precisely to talk about crypto investing. And we also have learning materials on our app and our websites. Education is something that we're super passionate about. Just because I think yun yung that's often we where we see the bottleneck, and where people are not confident in taking part in the market because there's not a lot of good learning materials out there.
Michelle, I've seen a podcast. Actually, before I did the interview, I was listening to some podcast, and there was an analyst that mentioned about the 4-year cycle of crypto, specifically Bitcoin. Oh, where do you see crypto from this day, crypto trading platform in the next 5 to 10 years?
Uh, the most exciting thing about Bitcoin right now is that not only are we coming up in the next halving cycle, which I'll explain a little bit ano yun, but that we're also seeing more institutions enter the crypto market. So ano yung halving cycle? As many of you might know, Bitcoin is decentralized, meaning no one can just alter Bitcoin's the way Bitcoin was programmed. And the way Bitcoin was programmed, uh, it's designed to have its supply at preset periods. No? So sometime between April and May, yung output ng Bitcoin mining will be reduced like half, which means na yung supply of Bitcoin will actually go down. Now, as you know, in markets, when you shrink supply,
Demand goes up.
yeah, price goes up, right? And kasabay nitong halving event, we're also potentially gonna see the first SEC approved ETFs. Okay, ano yung
Oh,
significant?
wow.
In the US, there are a lot of institutional investors, meaning pension funds ng workers unions, or endowment funds ng universities, and they haven't been able to invest in crypto historically because they weren't allowed to. But if bitcoins were structured as ETFs, then they will be able to invest in a Bitcoin ETF. So if that happens, I can imagine a lot of institutions will want to buy Bitcoin ETFs, and that's just going to increase demand. No, so I'm very optimistic about um, not just the not just the performance of cryptocurrencies, but I'm also very optimistic that more people will enter the space in the next 5 to 10 years.
How do you want the younger generation to diversify their portfolios for long-term growth and risk management?
I think parang um uh today when we decide to invest, syempre I'm not super young anymore, but I can imagine when you're young and you decide to invest,
You look young,
chances
Michelle.
are you decide to invest because you're seeing other people make money from their investing activities, and it's tempting to see near instant gains. But the correct way to go about things when you decide to invest is first deciding how much of your portfolio you want to allocate to the different asset classes. Okay? In other words, parang how much, ilang percent ng cash, ilang percent ng portfolio mo do you want to hold in cash, meaning mga deposit accounts? Ilang percent you would want in UITFs or bonds, and ilang percent you want to use to buy and sell stocks. Now, if I were 20 years old today, maybe I would put 10% of my net worth in cash, right? So there's so many options na today. The digital banks like
Oh, yes.
Dawn, Maya, etc. They all give good interest rates. So and there's also tokenized bonds today, on PDAX, paying about 6 to 6.5%. So these are things that I might wanna allocate to. 40% of my portfolio maybe will be invested in bonds or fixed income instruments. Do I want to put in equities? Absolutely, especially if you're young. Maybe put 45% of your portfolio in equities, and maybe don't limit yourself to just Philippine equities, no? Because clearly there's also a lot of growth in other markets, so you might want to gain exposure to those markets also. And then
Mas
yung remaining,
Diba? Mas bata, mas pwedeng mag-take ng risk. Tama ba?
yeah, that's right, because especially with equities, no? Kasi equities, these companies that whose stock you're buying, they wake up every day just to figure out how to make more money for you. Okay, so companies are designed to create value. Now, yung remaining part ng portfolio ko, 5%, maybe I would invest in more speculative assets, right? Like if I have a friend who's starting a business, kailangan niya ng partner, maybe I would invest. Or if, may bagong token that seems exciting, maybe I'll invest. But I will not invest more than 5% of my portfolio. Because if my friend whose business is not doing well, ayoko namang mag-away kami just because of
Yeah.
of the investment.
All right. So, thank you for that. We'll go on to the next part of our interview, the fast talk. So, Michelle, on top of mind, no right or wrong answer. So, we'll start. Favorite digital coin?
Bitcoin by a mile.
In one word, describe NFT.
NFTs, decentralized ownership of digital assets.
If you are only allowed to give one name, who introduced NFT to you? One specific person.
Ah, that would be my friend Benji.
What year did you buy your first digital coin?
2016.
2016. And one word to describe how that year went for you.
The great.
Yeah, we all know what happened on BTC. Tignan nyo na lang guys what happened on Bitcoin price in 2016. So, digital asset or tangible asset, Michelle?
Both.
In one sentence, how can PDAX change our lives?
By making investment products available to all Filipinos. Just like
Wow.
bonds. Tokenized bonds are now available.
How do you personally stay ahead of the game? Sorry, ito. Waking up early or staying up late?
I'd like to wake up early, but often I just stay up late.
The one thing is different from what's happening, the reality versus expectations versus reality. So from 1 to 10, rate how important education or a diploma is when it comes to succeeding in life.
I would say 9. It's not the most important thing, but it is pretty important to the rest of the world for you to make it in life.
If you were to go back to school today, what course would you take?
I would probably take computer science. I'll be a software engineer. There's a lot of exciting things in tech, and I hope, or I would have wanted to be in the front lines as an engineer.
Ito naman, this is a sentence that may not be, the context was taken from the Bible, but it's not necessarily the real truth of it. So, kung ikaw ang magkukumpleto ng sentence ito, how will you finish it? Money is the root of all blank.
Money is the root of all desire. Yes.
Nice! Desire. All right.
Money is a tool. I believe it's neither good nor evil. It becomes evil if money becomes the center of your being, and you forget all the important things. So,
All right. Thanks, Michelle. So ngayon naman, we want to give our viewers your how they will manifest or your 3 Ascenso tips.
For me, tip number 1, always be learning. There was a time in my career when I was still working at a bank. Now, when I'm driving home to the office or driving back home from work, I just stopped listening to music. I just started listening to audiobooks and podcasts. So every day, 2 hours, you'll be finishing, maybe 1 book every week. And you'll realize na after 1 year, you learn a lot more than you ever did. Okay? So that's one very quick tip. Second Ascenso tip. Who we are is really shaped by the people we surround ourselves with. There's nothing wrong with hanging out with friends that we've been friends with for a long time, but it's always good to add friends to our circle who we admire, who we can learn a lot from, and who can really mentor us, who are good examples. So surround yourself with smart people. And you'll find you yourself will become a lot smarter and more successful. Successful people are often generous when it comes to sharing, life advice and experiences. So make sure you do that. Third advice is don't be discouraged, right? I think the path to success is not a straight line, even though we hear stories about people who all of a sudden became super big time or became a billionaire. That didn't happen overnight. I guarantee you, everyone who ever became successful had to deal with a lot of failures along the way, and the way that you continue to uh, pursue success is by not being discouraged when all of these small failures come. Just stay true to your mission. Be courageous and never give up.
Thank you, Nichelle. It was so much pleasure to talk to you today. Ang dami ko natutunan. And I know that viewers are more enlightened with when it comes to digital coins now that we have talked to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
There are many ways to grow your wealth. The decision is yours. Kaya mahalagang pag-isipang mabuti kung saan mo nais ilaan ang iyong oras, pagod at pinaghirapang salapi. Dalawa sa pinakapatok na investment options ngayon, lalo na para sa mga kabataan, ay ang crypto at ang stocks. Both paths offer unique opportunities and challenges, but investing in already established companies with legit physical offices and products brings several notable benefits that warrant consideration. Alamin kung ano ang pinagkaiba ng crypto market at stock market. Gayon din ang kanilang pagkakapareho sa larangan ng pagpapayaman. Magbibigay din ng exclusive tip ang susunod nating guest sa kung ano ang mga kumpanya or coins na maaari nating ma-investan sa cryptocurrency.
Our featured fearless forecaster of the week, Pedro Febrero, has a diverse background in economics management and technology. Pedro began their work experience in 2016, founding Bitbeyond, and has since held various roles, including senior crypto writer, guest speaker, co-founder, researcher, lecturer, and VP of Web3. They have also contributed to several academic papers, reports, and podcasts sharing their expertise in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. Pedro has also acquired several advanced certification in data science, big data, and blockchain technology from IBM, Amazon, and SAP. With a strong educational background and extensive work experience, Pedro has become a leading voice in the crypto space, and we are excited to have him as our featured fearless forecaster this week. Let's dive into Pedro's fearless forecast. Hi, Pedro Febrero. Welcome to Fearless Forecast. Thank you for saying yes to us.
Hello. Hi, China. How are you doing? Thanks for
I'm good. And Happy New Year. This is
Thank you.
2024. And you know what it means by the start of the year? We'll be asking, what do you think crypto will be like, especially Bitcoin for this year, Pedro?
Okay, it's that's a good question. I mean, I'm assuming you're asking about the price, correct?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, I think probably this year it will be the larger part of the bull run, as it usually happens on during halving years. Usually, it's the tops come between 6 to 8, 12 months after the Bitcoin halving. So, in my opinion, I think the top will still come this year, so probably December, but it can extend a little bit further. So it can extend to the early, months of 2025. But I wouldn't expect it, to run much longer than that.
All right. So Pedro, can you tell us about? I've heard this. I've been watching Bitcoin and crypto for the past few years, maybe, and I've seen that there is what they call the 4-year cycle. Of cryptocurrency. Can you tell us more about it for our viewers who's really new in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 4-year cycles is commonly referred to as a cycle that exists around the Bitcoin halving. The Bitcoin halving is basically when more or less every 4 years the Bitcoin supply that is mined is cut in half. So it means that the people that are mining Bitcoin on a daily basis, right, they get half of the supply that they used to get, right? So if they got 25 Bitcoins, now they're going to get, now they're getting 6.125 Bitcoins, and they're going to get 3 Bitcoins after this halving. That's coming in April, more or less in April this year, 2024. So these 4-year cycles are commonly associated to this, to this Bitcoin feature, which is a halving. So every time there's a halving, commonly a couple of months after the price, starts to rise.
Okay. So is it the same as like the stock market having a bull market and a bear market run?
Yeah, more or less. I think yes. It's about sentiment, right? It's about people buying and selling, which means that yes, of course, it's the prices are super speculative, and it's only about people buying and selling and the expectations that people have of the future price, right? So yes, I 100% agree. It's more or less the same thing as the stock market.
What do you think about NFTs? Like there are a lot of like it's up and rising, and then the blockchain is continuing to expand. What do you think will be the future? What will be your forecast on NFTs?
That's a great question. I mean, NFTs are more or less the same as a crypto token, right? There's of course differences, right? Like an NFT is basically a collectible, so it's non-fungible. Non-fungible simply means that if you have a token, right? If you have a smart contract with many tokens related to that specific smart contract, each token will have individual properties, right? That's basically the difference. That's what this means. So common ERC20 or a common currency like Ethereum or XRP, or doesn't matter the currency, any of them, all the coins are the same, right? It doesn't really matter which coin you have, right? But with NFTs, it's not really that the same, because each NFT has individual properties that can make them more or less unique, right? And yes, I do think that the market of NFTs is going to grow a lot the next couple of years, especially due to gaming, because NFTs are collectible, so it's assets that people own, right? It means that they can transport those assets cross game. They can do whatever they want with those assets. So I think that a new type of game will pop up. There's already a few examples, but where basically the game producers create more or less the infrastructure, right? And the user brings their own assets, right, into the game, which is something that people want to do anyways, right? So it's much easier for game producers because they can, just incorporate collections, and people will bring their own items, let's say. So I think that there will be a new model that will appear very, very soon, and also because these new Web3 games that use NFTs, of course, they more or less are also money related. When I say money related, it means that people can put money as in wager, for example, or betting, right? And they can play with real money as well, right? It's not only a game, because the assets, the financial assets or the tokens that are involved can be traded, right, in an open market. So imagine gold coin, right? It's a World of Warcraft coin, the gold coin that they have in WoW, or the credits that they had in Star Wars Galaxies, like the game, doesn't matter. So any of those credits or currency in game, it can be traded as well, right? So it means that it's more or less like Second Life, but a proper Second Life, in the sense that you actually make the real money, right? You can exchange it at a decentralized exchange like Uniswap, for example. So you don't really need to ask for any type of permission, right? You don't need to do any of that. You can just take the assets, take the money, and like sell it or bring it into the game as well. So I think yes, the technology is going to grow because of crypto, right? I don't think because you will hear some people say that crypto, blockchain, not crypto, etc. But I don't think they're separate; they're the same. And yes, I think Gary is right in the sense that blockchain is an identifier, right? If for example, in Ethereum, if I send a transaction to you from one of my addresses, you will know whatever I did with that address, right? You can have access to all my financial records regarding that address. So yes, it is an identifier, because if I'm an artist, if I'm a developer and I produce a smart contract, right? It can be NFTs, it can be DeFi, it can be anything, right? If I produce a smart contract, I can prove that I am the owner of the smart contract, and it's it was I who produced the contract, right?
can you tell us a bit of background about yourself? Like, did you start with crypto on the onset, or is it? Do you have like another career that you have before that eventually led in your discovery to cryptocurrency?
I think that, like as most crypto enthusiasts, we started somewhere else, right?
Yes.
I was a bit lucky because my academic background is in economics, so I studied economics at the university. But I never worked with economics, right? Like at economics, I always work with technology. So I was doing, ERP implementations, system administration, like all that kind of, like all the background
stuff,
boring
right?
stuff. Yeah, IT software. Yeah, exactly. IT stuff that's like boring. But when I encountered cryptocurrency, it was like 2015 or 2016, something like that. It did change my life in the sense that like in about 1 year, 1.5 years, I was like full time on crypto. I was doing projects. I was writing for media sites. I was all over the place doing stuff in crypto, right? So it did change my life in the sense that I abandoned what I was doing, and it also helped me to understand economics, because one of the things that I noticed is that only after I found crypto is that I fully understood the entire scope of all economic schools of thought, right? Because at least here in the Western world, in Portugal, Europe in general, I'm going to say Portugal, but it's not Portugal, it's Europe in general, you learn more about the Keynesian economics, right? The American economics. You don't really learn about the Austrian school of thought. That's more linked to how Bitcoin works, right? With a hard currency that cannot really be minted out of thin air. But yeah, that was like an opener, right? A mind opener. I mean, because I wasn't really aware of that school of economics that could be applied in reality. So Bitcoin was actually a catalyst for me to actually fully understand how it could, how an economic model that's based on savings and that's based on investing could actually work when the money is worth more tomorrow than it's worth today, right? Because most people are against that, and actually it's a very good economic system, I'd say. So yeah, 2016 I found crypto, and then what did I do? I started writing for media channels like on Desk, stuff like that, and then I did my own I did a project, like early project in 2015-16. It didn't work out. It was about recruitment. It didn't work out. I moved on like 2018-19. I was always doing more stuff, right? I was always doing like my project and other stuff at the same time. Then I did so much stuff. I wrote. Let me just resume. I wrote about like 1,500 articles, like in 2 or 3 years, and published 2 scientific papers, one at IEEE, the other at ASIC. Both journals are pretty big, I think. IEEE is the largest engineering journal in the world, so it was very cool to publish a paper about crypto and blockchain there. And then like 2020, if I'm not mistaken, late 2020, I joined Real Fever as the head of blockchain, and now I'm the vice president of Web3 for the past like 1.5 years or something like that. And yeah, and we've been developing officially licensed football collectibles. It's like Top Shot, but for football, basically. It's super easy to explain like this. And the more, I think our like biggest difference is basically the fact that we're focused on building games, right? Not really on the collectibles itself. It's just a small part of the ecosystem that we have. We have fantasy leagues. We have a game for collectibles, like a football strategy battle game for the NFTs, where you can play with NFTs, wager against your friends, etc. So have tournaments, stuff like that. Yeah.
Sorry, Real Fever is about NFT collectibles and games, right?
Yes.
So that's your product. And what do you think would be like your forecast for 2024 when it comes to the top coins that will probably have the most potential when it comes to to the projects that has been going around crypto world?
I think that you mentioned like Bitcoins, Ethereums, or like the big ones, right? Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm pretty sure the number it's going to be number go up, right? In the sense that I'm expecting Bitcoin to at least hit 100k, right, or around that.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure if
100
it's gonna go much further, but it
For the
at
year.
least 100k. And Ethereum should be around, I don't know, 7-10k, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, but of course, like, I mean, these numbers are meaningless, right? It can be much higher, it can be much lower, right? We never
Mhm.
know how it's gonna be, right? But my only piece of advice is like people are always wrong, right? If you hear the majority of people saying it's going to be 200k, you know it's not. It's not going to be 200k. It's going to be much less, right?
I have a question. There is a coin that became a fad here in the Philippines like 2-3 years ago before the pandemic, and it suddenly went like super low. And this is Axie.
Yep.
What do you
Axie
think?
Infinity, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think will be the future of Axie? I think a lot of people they still are familiar with it and probably still holding that coin. And what do you think will still be a future for Axie? What do you think was going to happen now that it's the start of the bull run for the crypto world?
I think it's going to go well for Axie probably, because I mean, it's a very well known project, and lots of people like to play it, right? Still, like if I go today to DAppRaider, for example, and I check on the top projects, actually it's going to be on the top 20, for example, top 15, something like that, right? So it's still, like, you know, widely known. So the rule for me is that, does the project have a big community, right? If it has a big community, it means that it has product market fit, right? So people like it. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I'm not for me, that's irrelevant. What matters is do people like it or not. So product market fit, and Axie clearly has product market fit. It went to a couple of billion the last bull run. So I think, like, this this bull run, it's not gonna go in percentage terms, right? It's not go as high as, like, you know, the last one, of course, but I think it's still gonna go at least like 10x or something, probably more.
What would you suggest for those people who are still holding Axie and waiting for its return?
Yeah, just hold it, I guess. wait for the peak.
Will there be a dark horse, Pedro? Do you think there will be a dark horse coin that will be coming in this year?
Well, what's a dark horse coin? I have no idea.
A dark horse is a term you use that you didn't see it coming, but it probably rise more than any other
Yeah,
coins.
for sure. Yeah, for sure, absolutely.
There's
always one. There's always one.
But is there a particular coin that you think that no one is noticing right now, but has a really big potential?
Yeah, for sure, Hex. Oh yeah, definitely Hex. Because
All
it
right.
dropped like
Yeah, I was trying to get that answer from you. Yeah,
no,
so
absolutely.
Yeah,
Hex. I would bet Hex that it's gonna.
Why do you like
outperform.
Hex? Would you like to share it with us?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I promote Hex more than I promote, like, Fever the token, like, at the company that I work, because I like Hex. For me is something. It's a different breed, right? It's a finished product, right? And that doesn't exist in crypto. Crypto is about protocols, right? And that is Hex is not a protocol; it's a product, and that it completely changes the game, right? It's a finished product. It means it has no vulnerabilities, right? Literally no vulnerabilities. It has been audited 3 times by pretty big firms, like good ones, good people. Like, so when I mean it's good developers who audited the contract, and the contract is finished, it's closed, so there cannot be changes. There's no admin keys. There's nothing, right? For me, this is proper DeFi. Right? X also invented single-side staking, which is, I don't know how to say this, but it's probably like 100 times, 2,000 times more secure than any staking, contract that exists. Why? Because in Hex, you're not really staking; you're destroying coins and minting them in the future, and that is completely changes the game, right? In terms of security, it's insane. The way that it works is, in terms of technology, it's brilliant. It's light years ahead of, for me, of course, of most crypto products, and especially because around Hex there are lots of products. Like, for example, everybody loves liquid staking, right? Liquid staking. Oh, you can use your Ethereum that's stake, blah blah. Look, bro, X invented that like 3 years ago, like more, probably 4. Like, when X was born, there was a project called like Maximus DAO that appeared like 1 year after. What they did is like they tokenized the shares. The shares is that when you stake Hex, you get shares, right? The shares is just a computation of the system to let you know how much Hex you're earning per day, right? And what they did is, okay, because when you stake, you get these shares, but the shares are not tradable, right? So they made the shares tradable. So they made the shares liquid. So they created liquid staking. So basically, Hex is the innovation, and the products that are around Hex are the real innovation. Like all the other stuff, liquid staking, I mean, it's fun, but they're just copying what Hex has done like in the past already. So that's why I really like the project. I mean, lots of people hate it because of Richard Hart, because of the persona behind it, but I don't honestly, between us, I don't give a about the persona, right? It's the product that I really care, and the fact that they build a community, right? It's a huge community. If you go to the Hex contract, you'll see on Ethereum, for example, because there's many hexes, right? In many chains, right? But I'm referring just to the Ethereum Hex, right? Because it's simple. It has like over 330,000 users, right? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. After dropping 99% twice,
Pedro,
it's crazy.
Can you tell us the average number for our viewers who are not familiar with what's the average number versus what is in Hex? And
50K, like a big project has 100K users, right? Like Hex is absolutely out of like every chart. It's insane in terms of every metric. Yeah, every metric for me regarding Hex is crazy. Like it dropped 99.9%, like and the number of stakers increased. It's like it's insane. It's insane. It's like all the like it for me. It's like it's everything is screaming like buy this because it's like all the metrics are going up and price is going down. It's like woo, it's awesome. But of course, you cannot be a paper hand, right? You need to believe in the stuff, because when you're buying now, you're buying in the depression, right? Everything is pumping, right? And the X is still going down. So I mean, of course, it's way more risky to do that, but sometimes it goes well, and like the reward is much higher as well, right? So but Hex is definitely my favorite project in all crypto land.
So Hex is your favorite project.
Yeah.
And talking about like digital coins or the ICOs, just for the sake of our viewers, when you say staking, it's getting coins without being able to sell it on the market. So it's like you're holding it and you're
just basically what you're saying is that you're depositing. Usually this is how staking usually works. You deposit your coins in a smart contract, right? And for a period, right? It can be a specific period or it can be an open period, right? But for a specific time frame, you tell the company that you're not selling, right? Because you're depositing your coins in a contract and you're getting paid to do it, right? You're getting yield. The yield usually is the inflation, right? The project trades coins and they distribute the coins, right? So you get a portion of that inflation, let's say. So this is staking very, very basically how it works.
All right. So Pedro, just for the last question for you, in terms of meme, I'll show you a meme, because here in Follow the Bunny, we believe that we can learn out of from the meme that is being created. And I'll show you one meme and tell me if you have, at one point in your life, have you experienced this, and what do you think is the wisdom behind this meme? So this is the meme. So the meme for the week. So this is my life savings. And then this is me, shitcoin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you relate to that meme?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for sure. I did put everything I got in crypto, and I still do. So I do understand that meme is very good, and it's absolutely super accurate, right? This is literally how most people do it at some point, right? They just go nuts on crypto land, right? They buy everything, they FOMO into everything, and it's literally my life savings asking you, please don't do that. But literally, people do it. I do it too. So it's a very accurate meme. It's a very, very funny and accurate meme. Well picked, well chosen.
How do you think how people will learn from this, and what do you think is the wisdom that we should be careful of when it comes to investing or trading in cryptocurrency?
Don't trust yourself. basically, because you're gonna be wrong most of the time. So imagine when, like, the first times that you want to sell because you did a 3x or 4x, like, probably the best thing to do is not sell, right? Like, for most people, right? I mean, if you come at the top, of course, it's the best thing is to sell. But yeah, I'm not speaking about the people that come in the last month, right, of the bull run. I'm talking people who are here, because look, the experience that I got the most from other people, right? It doesn't happen to me though, because I either I don't sell, or I rarely sell. Okay, as I said, I rarely sell. So fiat between cryptos, yeah, sometimes I do, of course, I convert one to the other, but I mean, in terms of fiat, and the good thing about that is that you don't miss when the project does 1000x, because I had 1000x's, but for you to have a 1000x return, you cannot sell, right? You need to just hold it for years, and it's hard for people to do that. It's very hard, right? Because usually the problem that most people face is that they will sell at the wrong time. Okay, because because they cannot compute that something can do 1000x, right? Like, imagine the best trade of anybody's life was buying Bitcoin in 2010 and never selling it. That's it.
And never
it's super simple. Like, let's not overcomplicate things, because this is the actual truth. What I'm telling you is the truth. Like, the best trade, buying Bitcoin 2011, never selling it. Not even in the past, bull run, because we know that Bitcoin is going to go to a higher price. Okay, and that also applies to other coins. It's not only specific to Bitcoin, of course. It applies to other coins. So if I could leave with one piece of advice, is just buy the coins that you really believe in, and don't sell them. Don't sell them for 10 years, right? It doesn't matter if they go to zero, they go to zero. But if they don't go to zero and they continue to go up, they'll just go to numbers that you could not even compute, right? And that is where the true money is made, right? It's not on the 2x, 3x, 10x. That's nothing. That's peanuts, because you'll eventually lose, right? Like 90% of my bets, I lost them, right? But the ones that I believed and I remained gave me over 1000x, and 1000x returns is insane, right? When I'm saying 1000x, it's even more like 5,000-6,000. So each dollar that you put in, you can take out $1,000, right? And that's proper money, right? That's where the gains are made. After 1,000 to 10,000 stuff, or even higher, that's where the real money is made. Like the guy who bought Bitcoin in 2010 for 1 cent or 10 cents or $1, never sold it. Like, how much does he have today, right? How much is going to have in 1, 2, 3, 10 years, right? So if you believe that the price is going to go up in 10 years, right? If you can do that time frame, yeah, sure. Just hold to the stuff and never sell it, right? Because you're going to sell it at the wrong time for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Pedro. That's very insightful. And I think a lot of people will also be aware that, in the crypto world, it's just a matter, it's still starting. I mean, we haven't started yet, even in the middle of it. And there's still a lot of potential. And I hope to see you next time. And, it was nice seeing you here. And thank you for gracing us with your presence here at Follow the Money.
Thanks for inviting me, China. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Pedro. Technology, that's the great equalizer. Isang natatanging asset na may access lahat, mapamayaman man o mahirap. Dahil sa teknolohiya, maraming buhay ang unti-unting nagbabago at patuloy pang nadadagdagan ang mga new money sa makabagong mundo. Mga batang walang inaasahang mana, mga taong naging unang mayaman sa pamilya, mga online sellers, vloggers, gamers, digital traders, at marami pang iba. Kung hindi ka man pinanganak na mayaman, pues ikaw ang mag-aahon sa angkan ninyo paangat sa kahirapan. Marami ng paraan para gumawa ng pera. Ang mahalaga kapag nakaakyat ka, huwag mong kakalimutang hilahin pataas ang iba. I am China Barachina. Follow me, follow your dreams, and the money will follow right after. Thank you and God bless. See you in the next episode, Rich Takers.